The Headless Horseman Chap 1. On the mountain peak shrouded in fog, where the mysterious and eerie scenery captivates the heart, a thick white mist drapes over the mountain's surface like a thin veil, obscuring and rendering the landscape hazy. The chilling sound of the wind merges with the rustling of dry branches, creating a haunting and mysterious symphony. At this moment, a group of young friends is on an excursion here. The group includes Tuan, who is always curious about the mysterious, Jiang, who loves adventure, and Van, who believes nothing can scare him. They are extremely excited about this trip, but the thick fog causes them to lose their way and accidentally enter an abandoned village. Driven by their passion for exploration, the young friends decide to stay and explore the village. They begin their journey into the night, unaware that their curiosity would unleash a terrifying nightmare. As they enter the abandoned village, a chilling sensation and deep silence pervade their minds. The old houses with broken windows and crooked doors stand precariously in the dark, creating an eerie atmosphere. Darkness engulfs every corner, and the dim moonlight casts shadowy and frightening figures. The cold radiates from every crumbling brick and every closed door, making the air feel chilling and terrifying. The village lies amidst a dense fog, making them feel as if they've stepped into a world of ghosts. So desolate, Jiang murmured. She loves adventure but feels a bit scared by the village's gloomy atmosphere. But Van, hearing her, mocked. What are you scared of? Don't you find it thrilling? While the two bickered, Tuan spotted an ancient temple. Unable to contain his curiosity, he invited his friends inside. The three quickly entered the temple and used a flashlight to illuminate the interior, discovering a strange statue on the altar. This must be the deity the villagers worshipped, Jiang said as she approached the statue. Van, intending to tease her, nudged Jiang lightly, causing her to touch the statue. At that moment, a cold wind blew through, and they heard strange murmuring sounds from outside. A sense of unease rose within them. They quickly stepped out to check the situation and were horrified to see before them the shadowy figure of a medieval knight in ancient armor, riding a horse, but without a head. The headless knight appeared as a shadowy, misty figure amidst the thick fog. He rode a black horse, gliding effortlessly through the cloudy mists. His form was shrouded in gleaming armor, holding a long lance that sparkled in the darkness like the last glimmer of hope. Even without a head, the knight's figure exuded a cold and frightening presence. His form created an eerie feeling that spread through the surrounding space. Thus, in the abandoned village, as darkness enveloped every corner, leaving only old houses and a sense of desolation, the young friends accidentally awakened a curse by exploring ancient mysteries. Now, they must face the headless knight, the village's haunting nightmare. Thunder roared from the sky as the knight began his chase. The young friends fled in panic, every step spreading fear. The deserted streets became places of refuge, but every corner echoed with the sound of pursuing hoofbeats. They had to run through narrow alleys, climb over thorny fences, and traverse old ruins. Exhaustion began to spread as they panted and their bodies tired. However, they couldn't stop because their lives were at the mercy of the cruel night. Each step was a battle, each breath a prayer. They had to rise from panic, finding ways to deceive and evade their pursuer. Unity and courage were the only things helping them survive this horrifying night. The haunting chase continued, but the young friends never stopped looking for an escape from the knight's sharp lance. They hoped this was just a dark nightmare they would overcome and survive. However, when the knight's long lance struck Van, they realized this was reality, not a nightmare. Van was wounded, his body bleeding, and he collapsed on the road. The friends used all their strength to lift him and ran into a nearby abandoned house. While Jiang tried to bandage Van's wound, the headless knight approached. Tuan decided to distract the knight, running in another direction to save his friends. Tuan ran fast along the road, cold sweat running down his back. The headless knight kept chasing, each hoofbeat bringing him closer. As Tuan stumbled and fell during the chase, he desperately looked at the knight's long lance about to pierce him. At that moment, the sunrise suddenly appeared, radiant and bright. As dawn broke over the distant mountains, light illuminated the abandoned village, revealing the eerie scenes. The headless knight looked up, sensing the coming dawn. He sheathed his lance and turned his horse around, slowly vanishing into the thick fog. Tuan watched in bewilderment as the knight disappeared. He felt fortunate to have narrowly escaped death. When Van and Jiang saw him return, they sighed in relief. The group looked at each other, grateful for the sudden release from their terrifying nightmare. Their trembling fingers clasped each other, thankful for the luck that allowed them to survive the night filled with fear. "We need to get out of this village," Jiang said, her voice trembling. The group nodded in agreement. They quickly helped Van out of the dreadful village, but they couldn't find the way out despite searching everywhere. Disappointment filled them as no trace of the path back was found. The exit had vanished like a cruel joke of fate. Panic spread as they thought about the headless knight's return that night. The dawn light faded, and the feeling of loneliness grew more unbearable. They felt like prey trapped in a mysterious and dangerous chase. The friends decided to quickly find a hiding place, preparing for the Headless Knight's next encounter. As dawn flashed, they felt like small candles in the dark, waiting for the next challenge of a long, terrifying night. The Headless Horseman Chapter 2. In the abandoned village, a group of young friends accidentally awakened a curse while exploring ancient mysteries, and now they must face the Headless Horseman, the village's mystical nightmare. In the darkness of the dense forest near the abandoned village, the shadow of the Headless Horseman appeared, moving like a ghost. The group of young friends, consisting of 2 boys and a girl, were running from this haunting pursuit. Their hearts pounded with terror as they heard the sound of horse hooves behind them. The cold moonlight illuminated their path, turning the shadows into eerie images. The friends' footsteps grew heavy, and their hearts raced with each tense moment. They had to fight exhaustion, pushing through thick branches, trying not to get lost in the gloomy darkness. The Headless Horseman relentlessly pursued them, emanating coldness and malice. The friends had to devise tricks to outsmart their pursuer, running through rough terrain, climbing high hills, and hiding in caves for shelter. They did not stop, did not falter in the face of danger, for their survival depended on their ability to escape this terrifying horseman. In this moment, Tuan discovered an ancient book in the cave, quickly tucked it away, and continued fleeing with his friends. The breathless chase continued, each moment a battle for survival. The friends had to work closely together, using all their wits and strength to defeat the Headless Horseman and escape this nightmare. As they fled, Van's injury worsened, and he collapsed by the road, whispering, "You guys go, leave me." But Tuan and Jiang couldn't abandon him. They encouraged themselves to overcome their fear to protect their friend and themselves from this haunting chase. They lifted him and ran into the abandoned village. In front of them was a river, and the group quickly crossed a bridge to enter the village. But just then, the Headless Horseman caught up. The group was terrified, but then astonished when they realized the horseman stopped at the bridge and did not cross to kill them. Standing on the bridge, they felt safe. Suddenly, Tuan remembered the book he had picked up in the cave. Curious, he opened it and realized he was fortunate to have found it. The ancient book detailed the origin of the Headless Horseman. It turned out he was once a brilliant general, often achieving victories, but was later betrayed and cursed, causing him to become insane and evil. Due to his numerous atrocities, he was beheaded and cursed to ride eternally on his horse, never able to rest or die. The way to defeat the Headless Horseman was to find and destroy the source of his immortality. They decided to search for the horseman's grave for more clues at dawn. "We can stay here and wait for dawn," Tuan said. "We need to find his grave to solve the problem. We can't keep running like this. The longer he is revived, the stronger he becomes, and then, no matter where we hide, even on this bridge, it won't be safe." Indeed, at dawn, the Headless Horseman turned his horse and left. Following the book's guidance, the group discovered an ancient crypt, where the horseman was once buried. The crypt appeared as a gloomy picture in the darkness of the deep forest. It stood silently, sturdily among thick grass, like a secret buried beneath the earth. Large, sturdy stones formed the foundation of the crypt, but now they were obscure and meaningless in the ruins of time. Above, lush wild grass thrived, vibrant despite the solitude and neglect of the place. The group found a way into the horseman's crypt and discovered that the Headless Horseman could not be defeated by conventional means. They needed a special weapon to destroy him. Before leaving the crypt, the friends discovered an ancient scroll, sealed with old yellow leather. The scroll described how to defeat the Headless Horseman. Before dawn, only a silver sword could end his immortality. Each word in the scroll awakened their courage. They knew they had only one chance, and time was running out. The goal was clear: find the silver sword and defeat the horseman before dawn. With faith and determination, the young friends planned and searched everywhere for the silver sword. Each passing moment was an opportunity to save their lives and free them from the nightmare. However, after hours of searching, they still couldn't find the silver sword. The group became fearful and anxious. If we don't find the silver sword, can we escape the Headless Horseman tonight? They racked their brains and suddenly, Jiang had an idea. The Headless Horseman couldn't cross the bridge. Could the sword be under the river? Let's check it out. Tuan and Jiang quickly went to the riverbank and dove in. Indeed, in a moment, they noticed a glimmering object at the river's bottom, and it was the silver sword they were looking for. Finally, after much effort and risk, they found the silver sword, ready for the final battle. Before the dawn's light spread, they prepared for the fierce confrontation, knowing that only victory would bring them life. The friends decided they would no longer be victims but would stand against evil. They took the silver sword, set traps, and prepared to face the Headless Horseman. As night fell and moonlight shone on the village, The young friends were ready to face the Headless Horseman. Tuan gripped the silver sword tightly, feeling the thrill of the life or death battle ahead. The Headless Horseman emerged from the mist again, appearing more cold and haunting in the dark. The battle began, the sound of the sword clashing with the wind rising from the fight. Each friend had to rise, bravely confronting the Headless Horseman, leading him into the traps they had set to weaken him, hoping to win before dawn. The intense fight ensued, each strike a chance to save their lives. The friends had to use all their skills and strength to deal with the terrifying horseman. Each strike, each dodge, brought them closer to victory. Finally, with a slash from Jiang and a direct stab to the horseman's chest with the silver sword from Tuan, the Headless Horseman was defeated. His body dissolved into the air. The Headless Horseman disappeared, seemingly freed from his curse. The young friends breathed a sigh of relief, feeling joy and lightness after the fierce battle. They paused for a moment, looking at each other with satisfaction, realizing the power of friendship and unity. After the Headless Horseman disappeared, the morning light shone everywhere, revealing the village's exit. The young friends decided to leave the village, leaving behind dark memories. They moved forward, heading for new adventures, but the experiences in the abandoned village remained deeply etched in their memories.